seconds. And so let me start with what the lesson of the week is. Good morning. This is the 52 Weeks to Wealth Principle 31, which is in sales. Go for no. We'll talk about what that means in just a little bit. Before everybody who's been a part of this, the past 31 weeks has been a continuous latch onto the previous principle. We've been notching up each principle leading to the full 52 weeks. Now, this is something, it's a program you can go through over and over again. And if you do, you'll find that you learn more each time. And it's also something that you go through just one time in your life and probably get something out of it. But the more you review these principles at different levels in the game, the more money you're going to make, because every level in life has another devil. The more you earn, the more you learn. And so you have to learn a little bit more to earn a little bit more. Does that make sense? Everybody understands that life is a constant journey. It's a constant battle. It's also an opportunity.
Not a battle.
So I knew you were going to say something, Mike.
Sorry.
So there is these constant flows of energy, these constant flows, and a lot of people fight them. Like Mike is saying, look, don't fight them. But there are flows of energy, and whether you decide to win the war through fighting or through surrendering, like Mike and I agree to, then it's up to you, the results you have. Life can be very pleasant, just riding the wave, the torrential forces that are pushing you around. You can ride the wave of life, or you can try to be a breaker and be hit by life constantly. It's your choice. And this wealth principle 31, is all about making that choice for yourself, not letting anybody else, not letting the universe make the choice for you, you being the decision maker in your life. And so principle 31 is go for no. Now, when we're talking about sales, go for no, I'm not saying push a person with the hard sell until they say yes. Does that make sense? We get that. We're not talking about the hard sell. In fact, what we are talking about is going for no in a manner where you go for no after no after no until you find someone new who says yes. And then another person who says yes, because you're going for a certain amount of no's. So say you're cold calling. Who here has cold called before? Cold callers, you know what I'm talking about? Where you got to go as many times as it takes in the ring until somebody finally says yes. And if you just stopped at the yes, you'd stop making money, right? If you stopped at the yes, you wouldn't make any more cash. But if you continue beyond the yes, if you continue beyond that first yes, into the second yes, into the third yes, you're going to be able to make more and more money. So going back to the past 52 weeks, who here has been with us that whole time? If you've been with us the full 31 weeks, been paying attention, jumping in the calls, excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Was I?
Mike, you've been in them, even in the physical location. We're doing them physically. You were there. And most of you know that the 52 Weeks to Wealth actually started in Fall River in Massachusetts. We started doing just every week, every Saturday, we'd meet up, we'd get together, we'd have one lesson. We started with the first lesson, which was Think a Million. Your business has to make $1 million. If it doesn't make $1 million, you do not jump into that business. Does that make sense? This is about becoming wealthy, about earning more. And if you start a business and you decide you're going to spend 5-10 years in this business, but it only makes $70,000 a year, that's its max capacity, then you chose the wrong business. Does that make sense? We were just talking about it with Mitch Durfee early on the call, was the $1 million math. You can make $1 million through one deal. You can do $1 million through two $500,000 deals. You can do $1 million through 10 $100,000 deals. You can do $1 million through 20 $50,000 deals. That's one of our streams to make $1 million. You can make $1 million through 100 $10,000 transactions. That's one of our streams of income. You can make $1 million through 10,000 transactions of $1,000. And that's where the 10,000 unit REIT came in. Everybody heard of the fact that we want to build a REIT of 10,000 units?
Yeah.
Well, that's $1 million stream of income. And that's actually a $12 million stream of income because it's $1 million every month, which is possible. So going into the concept of go for no, Dorina, do you have the book next to you? The book Go for No? Excellent. Excellent. Ron, it is 2 minutes out. At 10 past 10, you can start bringing everybody in. Dorina, you can start bringing everybody in. So the book Go for No, this is based on the principle of cold calling. It's actually based on a sales tactic, a sales strategy. By the way, before I get ahead of myself, is it okay if I talk about a very sensitive personal issue for everybody on this call? Yes, we have permission. Excellent. I'm going to talk about money. I'm going to talk about you actually getting the money to do the next deal. Who here has thought, I can't do the next deal because I don't have the money? Don't be shy. I know this is all of our students, so everybody everybody here is impervious to that thought now. Who here has thought, I don't know how to do the next deal because I don't know where the next deal is right now. I don't know where it is. Has it ever crossed your mind that you don't have a deal in front of you? Yes. Or not enough deals in front of you? Excellent. Has it ever crossed your mind that you don't have the labor to do a deal? There's not enough people out there to do the work for you. Can't trust people. You know, maybe they'll screw you. Maybe they'll do the work wrong. Excellent. So the reason, and for everybody on the call, the reason you haven't thought about labor yet is because you haven't gotten the money and you haven't gotten the deal. But trust me, once you get the money, you get the deal, you start thinking about labor and it starts becoming a reality in your life. That said, we're going to talk about how to raise capital today. Who here would like to learn how to raise more capital? I mean, like infinite amounts of capital, all the capital. There you go. Rich Durfee says, hell yeah, 10 exit. Let's go. So we're going to teach you how to raise all the capital today. This has been a long time coming that people have been asking for this particular class, this particular lesson, and Go for No fits in it perfectly. So if you don't have capital, if you don't have the money to do a deal, we're going to talk about how to raise that capital today. If you don't have a deal, you got the money, you got the labor, but you don't have the deal, we're going to talk about how to get the deal today. Does that make sense? Is that fair? This sounds like something that'd be valuable to you. Excellent. So Ron, start bringing everybody in and we'll start partying through this. Real estate investing comes down to 3 elements. We just talked about them. They're money, deals, labor. The order does not matter. The fact is that most people say that they don't start real estate investing because they don't have the money. That is the reason that I am told people are not starting right now. Ron, can you mute everybody's mic? We're getting a little bit of background noise. Thank you, sir. And if you have access, mute your mic for now, just for the next probably 10, 15, 20 minutes until we can get through the lesson. And I'll bring everybody in and start asking questions. Feel free to ask questions. Save them for the end. It makes it a lot easier for me as a trainer. So for everybody who's new coming in, we're talking about how you can collect more money. The secret for you to raising all the capital that you desire. There will be a practice lesson. There'll be an exercise. So if you are driving in the car, Melanie, I see you driving, but I see that you're not doing the driving. So great job. Feel free to write this down. If you have a pen and paper, it'd be good to have it next to you for when we do the exercise. That said, diving right into it, Go for No, the strategy behind it. Dorina, can you throw the book up again? The book Go for No is a sales strategy based on cold calling. And what the person, as he goes through the story, says is, I used to just call until I got a yes. And when I got a yes, I'd go home, I'd be excited. And it brings you through his story. He actually goes through a fictional dream, and it's really entertaining to read the book or listen to the audio. But the moral of the story is he finally learns from another gentleman in his dream. It's actually him from the future coming back and talking to him, which, by the way, a little crazy. He says, if you just went for no instead of that first yes, you would have earned more money that day. He said the difference was that changed their lives where they went on this divergence is the first version, when he get a yes, he would hang up the phone, take his check, and go home. The second version, he was aiming for 100 no's that day. So he'd keep calling until he got his 100 no's, and he had 3 sales or 3 or 4 sales. He had multiple sales that day. And so every day he was compounding, getting more sales than the person who would just stop at first success. Does that make sense? Excellent. So how does a sales strategy, the Go for No sales strategy, tie in to raising capital. It's very simple. As the game continues, as the game progresses, these sales strategies don't change. You still need people, you still need connections. And so all of the tools, all of the tricks you've used to find motivated sellers and call them and dial, they're used in raising capital. When we raise capital, right now we're raising capital. So we have a project, it's a 8-unit building that we're taking, it's actually 2 buildings, it's a 5-family and a 3-family. We're taking it down for 480,000. We close on Monday, and we're looking to raise another $50,000 for that transaction. And we're looking to raise another $50,000 for another transaction, a flip we just closed. And then we're looking to do one of our condos. So we have these multiple $50,000, $25,000 opportunities. If you've lent us money before, put your hand to the camera. Stephanie, Mike, if you lent us money. Yep, very good. So there's a couple people on the call who've actually lent money to us before. And the reason is we asked. We simply said, hey, who do you know? Write this down. Hey, who do you know who would be interested in lending $50,000 at a 12% interest? And what that means, 12% interest, is we give you 1% every month. So if you lent us $50,000 like Mike did, then you're getting $500 a month. Now, Mike gets a little more than that because he lent to us at 14% interest. And so he's getting, I think, $540 a month or $560 a month, something like that. So, Mike, what is the check? What is the amount that we send you every month?
I think it's $566.67.
Whatever, technicality.
You take a penny.
Give Mike Shine a round of applause. We love you, Mike.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we love
it.
you.
Thank you.
How is his return 14%?
A girl, because he negotiated better than you. That's why, Steph.
Oh, wow. You know what?
So Steph, we borrowed $30,000 from Steph for another project we were doing, one of our condos. And Steph, what is the check we send you every month?
$300.
$300 every month, consistently in your bank account, correct?
Correct.
And you're wishing you negotiated better. I hear you. I get
Hey,
it.
you know what? Michael Sheen, can you negotiate for me?
Yeah, next
Tell
time.
him
maybe Stephanie, you need to actually hire somebody who can teach you how to negotiate like Mike Shine.
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
or maybe I just gotta see Mike Shine in action, and then I can learn from that.
Boom.
So I will tell you Mike Shine in action. He went for no. He said, hey, will you do it at 14 and 2? And I said, well, Mike, for you, yes, I will. Absolutely. We were 2 weeks out from the close, and we were in a really good position to overpay for something. And it was $1 million purchase. And that 50,000 was just helping us with some of the closing costs and some of the little, like, bridging the gap to the finishing line. And so it seemed like a good idea at the time. You would pay an extra 2% to close $1 million deal? I agree.
Just in my defense, this is a second mortgage. I am in second position behind his hard money lenders. So go out there, go for no, and see how many people are willing to be in second position behind somebody else. So
I love that. Give Mike and Stephanie a round of applause. We appreciate our lenders.
I think it's very important that you have some background in this, because, like, for me, since I'm so new at investing, that when you offered me the 12%, I didn't know that I was able to counter offer that, and I'm trusting you. So therefore, I think, like, whoever wants to invest money, then go ahead and first, do your research. Like, if you've never done investing before, I guess.
Experience is the best teacher.
That's right. And everyone is learning here. And so, Steph, just so you know, you got the best deal you were going to get at the time. We didn't.
I'm hurt right now.
Yeah,
Give me a minute.
We didn't need the money. We weren't in a rush. Whereas with Mike's, we had 2 weeks to close and a lot of pressure coming from the banks. So you got the best deal we were willing to give at the time. So
I'm going to pull back. And next time you're, like, pressured, I'm going to offer it again.
Yeah, that's when you want to get us, when we're under pressure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Damien.
All right, I'll drop a golden nugget for you guys. So this is more for you, Stephanie. So I just did my first private loan on June. Yeah, June. So it was my first one. Usually I'm asking for money. This time I was giving money, and a guy got stuck in his flip, and all he needed was 15 grand. Going through the process, I learned so much. So I only knew what I got from my private lender was 10%, no fees. But I got so much information from the settlement company because they see all sorts of loans coming in from everywhere. They see hard money, they see bank, they see, you know, refinances, or cash out refinances. You know, they see the private money coming in. So the owner of the settlement company was telling me what all the going rates were. And you know, she was like, wow, 10% on only 15,000? It's like, you can do much better. Why aren't you charging points? And she basically told me what was coming in at this time, what was coming in before, you know, and that's a little bit of a golden nugget and I guess Mike Shine is in that place. So Pennsylvania, they have like settlement companies, and they're not required to have lawyers. In Massachusetts, you have to be a lawyer to close. So I guess, you know, Mike Shine probably sees tons of loans coming in all day, and that's probably who to go for to ask, hey, what are kind of the going rates that you're seeing now versus before, kind of thing. That's a little bit of a golden nugget, and I just learned that myself on my first one. So yeah, carry on. Thanks.
I would say 100% Damien is right. So let me discuss
just quickly to address that. You know, I do see them, and at the time the going rate was 14-2. Now it's more like 12-2, pretty standard. So I'm watching to see what's out there. Okay.
Nice.
I love the fact that you did it happily. You were, you know, it's just the flow of money and mindset. It's like, I am happy to pay you this money. I'm borrowing money and I'm putting more out there, and it's just awesome.
Absolutely. I told the guy if we do another one, it's going to be at a better rate for me. So I went ahead and I gave him the 10% because I told him that, you know, verbal agreement, and we're in a real estate group together in Philly. But I definitely said, hey, I learned a lot on this first one, and the next one, you know, probably is going to be at a higher rate. So
absolutely. Give Damien and Stephanie a round of applause. Give Mike Stein a round of applause. So everybody on the call, we recognize that there are people willing to lend out there right now. Everybody on the call sees that. Hands to the camera if it makes sense. Excellent. So what is the difference between, actually, let's go. You want to do an exercise and figure out what's going on in your life right now with raising capital? Would you be interested in learning how to raise more capital right now in your life? Would that be cool? Would that help you? Yes? Excellent. We're going to do an exercise. Write down on a piece of paper how many people you have called this week to let them know about a deal that you have that you need money for. I know, I'm just kidding. So that exercise was for fun. Oh, does anybody have a number? Has anybody actually called somebody this week to let them know you're looking for money for a deal? Give these guys a round of applause. Great job. Great job. Excellent. So one of the steps to go for no is you've got to go, right? You got to actually call and ask for money. Money doesn't just drop into your lap for no reason. Now, yes, you have to surrender to it. And I know Mike Shine will say, well, money can just come to you when you think about it. You do have to still speak about it. It's not just thoughts. You got to communicate to somebody that you're looking to raise capital. Money doesn't just come from nothing. It comes from energy flowed and communicated, speak it into the universe. And so the process for speaking into the universe is talking to the right people, getting in front of the person who can get in front of the person. And so the sentence is, who do you know who is looking to lend money right now? Who do you know who's sitting on a bunch of cash who would be interested in getting a good return on investment? And here's what I'll tell you. The better you're willing to pay, the more you're willing to pay the universe, the more people, the more opportunities you're going to have, right? If I offered 14% interest on private money right now, who thinks they could muster up 10, 20 grand? If I was offering a 14% return on investment, I know. If I was offering a 16% return on investment, who thinks they'd come up with $15,000? Who knows? They would come with $50,000. If it was 16%, right? And if it was 16%, who'd come up with 100,000 tomorrow? Knows they can make it work. Knows they can make it happen.
I feel like this is a trick.
This is.
Oh, good. So all
Ron, did you see everybody?
It may not be a trick, but he is writing the names down.
Mike, he's anchoring you. You're about to lend money.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
What was that last percentage? How much you giving?
That was 16%.
50%, 50% for
$100,000.
100,000.
We have it on record.
I like that.
So the reason we're doing this exercise, everybody on the call sees hands went up they didn't expect. Does that make sense? Did you expect that people on this call, your friends, would say, yep? Did you feel it in yourself? Say, wow, yeah, you know what? I could find 100,000. You see your mind working right now, that there are ways you'd find that money if you knew the return was going to be that good. Trust me, when I go out and I say, hey, look, I give you a 12% return on investment on 50,000, 100,000, I don't care how much you lend, we're giving you 12%, you're going to get a 1% every single month. Then you say it with confidence. You got to say it with confidence. It's important that you believe that you will pay. So I have a track record of always paying my lenders, even in this situation, right? I haven't gone into forbearance. I haven't asked for forgiveness. I haven't asked for any deferment. My lenders get paid. Even my 12% super expensive interest-only loans. Does that make sense? You've got to know in your soul and in the core of your being that you will always pay your investors first. If you know that you'd always pay your investors, hands to the camera. If you know that you're that kind of person who would always pay your debts first. Excellent. Good people. So if you have that, I think that you'd be somebody good to raise capital. If you feel like you'd pay for your shelter first, you like buy yourself food before you paid your lenders, you probably don't belong raising capital. Let me set that bar first, that if your investors come first, you can raise. If your investors don't come first, I do not want you taking any of these tactics that I'm about to give and go forward doing any of this. Does that make sense? We got a commitment from everybody? Excellent. All right. So write this down. Write down somebody you look up to who has a lot of cash. Write down a name, one person, two people, three people. And then on the side of that name, write down what they do for a living. Write down what they do for a living. You can say Walter. Yes, I am pretty wealthy. I'd say my net worth is around 2.4 million, and we pull in somewhere around $50,000 a month. So fair to say that I have a lot of money. Yes, we agree. In comparison to most people, yes, that is not bragging. That is just a reality. So the reason you're writing down what a person who's successful and then what they do for a living is it's important to know. It's important to know that there are people like that who exist. We agree? There are certain trades that tend to make a lot of money. Real estate investing, we tend to do pretty well. Doctors tend to do pretty well. Write these down. Real estate investors, experienced real estate investors, not new guys. So you don't want to confuse all real estate investors, right? Because that includes wholesalers, flippers, rehabbers, real estate agents. Real estate investing includes a lot of people. What you want is the more experienced, older real estate investors. So that's that group. Attorneys, engineers, doctors, those are the people who are earning high income salaries. And if you think of a few people, a few of those trades, you can probably think of a few people who are in that trade. Is that fair to say? Writing these people down? Excellent. Excellent. You got a few more minutes. The idea is either make sure you're writing down the trades or write down the person and what they do, because you may identify other trades that are higher net worth people. And what we're going to do in a second is you can start putting those in the chat. Anything you think is creative or clever or outside of something I've mentioned, put it in the chat. This way the whole community gets exercise and opportunity. It says doctors, attorneys, experienced retired real estate investors. I'd say people who own insurance companies are another great avenue. Some business owners, some financial advisors. I've found that really good. Financial advisors tend to have built a lot of wealth, but they want that exposure to real estate investing. And so they're willing to lend as well. But not, again, that's another industry. It's not new ones. I find that most new real estate agents are broke. Most new financial advisors are broke. You've got to get the more experienced, seasoned people who've been in the game for a while. This making sense? We know why we're writing this list, don't we? Yes. We're writing a list so we can make phone calls, so we can call them, contact them. Now, the first step to go for no is not, hey, man, I know you got a lot of cash. Can you lend me on a deal? That is not how this conversation goes. Just like when we're buying real estate from a motivated seller, it's not, hey, let me buy your house. The conversation is, hey, I'm looking to buy real estate in the area. I know you don't know me, but I really like your property and I'd like to purchase. I like an opportunity to purchase either your house or houses like it. Who do you know who's interested in selling? And so when you're calling people who have money, who you know, you can say, hey, how's everything going? How's work? You're still employed, right? The cash flow is still coming in. Excellent. So if you've saved some cash, I've got an investment opportunity in real estate, and it's a really good deal. I'm looking to raise capital on it. I don't know if you or somebody you know would be interested. Would you like to hear a little bit about the deal? And let it run that way. Now, here's the deal with raising capital. Everybody you know who has money is interested in getting a good return on investment, especially a 12%, 14% return on investment. Who here agreed that they would take 16% return on investment for their cash? They would love that right now. All right. So we've abolished the myth that people don't want to lend. We agree that if you had 10 grand at 16%, you'd be making $1,600 every year, an additional $1,600, and that'd be cool with you. That would be $100 check in your bank account every single month. Would that be cool? Yes. Go ahead, Jennifer. You got a question? Jen? No.
I'll just say with 1,600 in your account with no broken toilets.
Yeah, no, nothing.
So sweet.
I agree. So this is
broken
so
toilets?
it's important to understand the mindset of your client. It's important to understand the mindset of the people that you're looking to call. We understand the reason we're having this conversation with ourselves right now. If you are willing to lend, then somebody else is also willing to lend. Does that make sense? But they may have a little more cash. They may be in a different position than you. They may not have the play that you have. Does anybody here know how to buy $1 million, $2 million portfolio, $2.6 million portfolio for under $1 million? Has anybody ever done it? We have, right? Ron and I have. And so we have that skill set to give people a good return on investment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So how about anybody ever do a flip? Does anybody in here have the ability to buy a single family home at $150,000, put $50,000 reno into it and sell it for $260,000? Anybody on the call think they could pull that off? Yes, a lot more of you. All right. Guess what? Is there anybody on the call who doesn't think that right now they could pull it off, but maybe a year from now they could? Anybody on the call who thinks in a year they could do that? Your friends are in that position. Your friends think that right now they couldn't. If you told them, hey, do this flip, they'd say no. But a year from now, maybe they could. And so what they'll say is, I'd rather you do the flip since I know you're doing it. I see your success. I'd rather you do the flip, but here's my cash and teach me how to do it. Do you think that would work? Somebody looking to learn how to do flips would lend you money to learn how to do flips? Yes, I agree. Are there people out there who are looking to retire, spend less time on the products, like Mike said, less toilets, and have the cash already stacked up? So say, I don't know, just random scenario. Say Ron and I decide to sell our entire portfolio. We're sitting on 2.5 equity together. We have $2.5 million in equity together. And say we decide to sell our entire portfolio. What would we do with that cash afterwards? Probably lend at 12 and 2, 14 and 2, 10 and 2, because it makes sense for us financially to still be making cash flow off of our money. Does that make sense? Excellent. Do you have something in the stock market or in the bank that could give me that return on investment? Anybody know a product that would give me a better return? Well, Mike, aside from Tesla right now, Mike, give Mike a round of applause. Tesla's split happens Monday. And if you look at your Robinhood account, it's already showing 443 as the stock price. I'm just waiting for my other accounts to recognize. So I only own 10 shares of Tesla, but on Friday I owned 10. On Monday, I'll own 50. So give me a round of applause. Money's working for me. Money's making money. Don't get into stocks until you got some cash. But you should be buying a little bit. You should be buying a little bit, right? You can talk to Ryan McDermott about how to build a savings plan. Go ahead, Mike.
I just want to say all the stuff you're talking about making money work while you sleep and all that is straight out of The Richest Man in Babylon. So if you haven't read that book, read The Richest Man in Babylon. It's such a good book, fun to listen to. Anyway, yeah,
That's the one.
money,
Get
yeah.
it.
Make money your slave. Make the children of your money your slaves. It's so awesome.
Yeah. So with all of the energy in the universe, everything that you've got, if you're putting all of your thought, your work to making money, you're not utilizing all the resources that are out there, all the resources the universe has. You can actually expand and allow other people to get rich with you. So going for no when it comes to raising capital means building this list, building the list you're writing down right now, and then saying, is there a way that, who here has more than 5 people on that list? Who here has more than 5 people? Yeah, more than 5? Who here has more than 10 people on that list right now, or thinks the list will get bigger than 10? Who here has more than 20 people on that list, thinks the list can get bigger than 20? Excellent. How about I give you a strategy? Oh, I see Damian wavering on that. Would it be helpful if I gave you a strategy to get more than 20 millionaires on that list? Yes, that'd be valuable too. Excellent. So write this down. Listsource.com. Who's heard of it? No shit. You've all heard of it, so that you can go and find properties, right? Did you know that there is a high net worth column in listsource.com? There is. You can find the millionaires in your state. You can find their net worths. You can find high income earners. And then you can go and you can find their phone numbers. Who here knows how to skip trace, knows how to find phone numbers in batch amounts, large amounts? Yes? No shit. I love this. Is a great community. Give yourselves a round of applause. You know, it's crazy. I can see the gears turning on your screen. I can see the gears turning as everybody's saying, oh shit, why have I not built this list of people I could contact? Furthermore, remember we were talking about trades. You can go and find the people in those trades. Guess what? They're all publicly listed. Every single one of them has to promote their business. Doctors are promoting their business. Attorneys are promoting their business. Mortgage lenders are promoting their business. Engineers, they're quiet. They're secret. They're sneaky. They're on bigger pockets.
Ninjas.
Go ahead, Mike.
I just wanted to point out, it was funny. I saw sort of a guru who was talking about getting a list together of high net worth people for you. And I'm like, I'm ready to drop $5,000 on this teaching.
Dan
I'm ready to
Zatofsky.
all this stuff. And then Walter's like, wait a second. Let me just pull up list source. Let me pull up this. Oh yeah, I can get you high net worth people in the next 5 minutes. You're good. And I was like, oh my God. So if you've got that mindset that you need to pay some guru, come to this community, because I guarantee somebody will say, I mean, they may tell you to go to that guru, but on the other hand, there's ways to find high net worth people who are willing to lend without paying some guru 10 grand to teach you.
And what the great lesson, give Mike Fan a round of applause. He is the reason that I even built that list in the first place. I even thought about it. So I still told Mike, yeah, go to that guru. And I think I'm going to go with you because I may learn something. What's $5,000, right? For me to learn a way to teach you guys how to raise capital even more. Would it be nice if I went and I learned something and I gave it back to you guys? Would you be interested in that? Cool. It's on the list. Dorino, set aside $5,000. I'm putting that in the education account. Lock it down. So education is something I'm willing to pay for. I don't give a shit, right? Like if I go and I spend $5,000 to learn something that's going to help you guys make another million. That's millions on millions on millions, right? There's 60, 80 you on the call right now. So if I can teach you how to earn $1 million, then I've done my job. Mike, go ahead.
And the magic is your philosophy of circulating money. If you put 5,000 out there, it'll all come back to you, maybe 100,000 strong. Every time I put money out, it comes back. So don't have that scarcity mindset.
Money is energy. You have to keep it moving. Just like your
Exactly.
body is made of energy. You have to keep it going.
100%. Give Mike a round of applause. That is so true. Since we're talking about energy, money is currency. It's flow, right? It's this thing that has to keep moving. You know what killed me yesterday as we're going through the property? I'm picking up pennies. Now, there was more mouse shit on the floor than pennies. Trust me. There was a lot of mouse droppings all over the floor, but there were also hundreds and hundreds of coins as we continued to go through the house. The floor, it was like mouse poop and pennies and quarters and nickels. And I've probably got $40 or $50 worth of pennies and quarters, but I picked them all up by hand. I was wearing gloves. And then I took them home. And this is what you do with dirty money. You clean it. Right? So I put in the baking soda, the vinegar, the salt, mixed it around, rubbed it all up, washed the shit out of it, rinsed it all out, and dried it. And now that's money I'm going to go put back into circulation so that the flow of money doesn't stop. I keep money moving. I don't care. Like, I know my guys would have thrown that out. I know my guys would have just ripped up the carpets, not worried about the pennies because they were too scarce, too sparse. I went to a training a long time ago that said, pick up pennies. They said, pick up all money, respect all money. And as we were going through the property, at the end, we ended up finding a safe. And inside of it, there was a whole bunch of gold. There was a whole bunch of gold inside the safe. Now, I don't know if it'll come out to be real gold, whatever, 200, 300 bucks worth of gold. But the point is that Ron and I were in the building looking for the things we know nobody else would look for. We were looking for the valuables. We were picking up the pennies. We were going through saying, you know what, money, universe has sent us money. We're going to accept it no matter what the denomination is. We will work with this. Same with our investors. Our investors, time comes up. They ask us to roll the money in again. We don't need their money, but we have a commitment to paying them that 12%. And so we find more deals to keep that money rolling. Does that make sense? We keep it flowing so that they can continue their lifestyle, their retirement. Because after us, if we don't keep lending, like borrowing their money, they're used to that flow. They're going to go to a less scrupulous lender. They're going to go a less scrupulous borrower. They're just going to say, I just want the 12%. Like just somebody, anybody. And so we know we have to keep doing this so that we can keep protecting our investors who've lent us money. So it's once you borrow money, just know it's a long-term commitment. You have to keep buying property. You have to keep finding ways to keep that money in flow because those are your new clients. Your investors are your new clients. Does this make sense? Is something maybe you never considered or it's a new concept? But it does make sense, yes? Excellent. So you build this list. And then while you're building this list, and please just pick one niche. Do not pick doctors, engineers, lawyers, real estate investors, lenders. Please just pick one niche so that you can build a good quality relationship with them. This is just like motivated sellers. Who talked about not having a deal? We said we didn't have a deal, but everybody on here knows how to build a list of motivated sellers. Everybody on here knows how to skip trace that list. Excellent. If you don't know how to do skip tracing for sellers, come to our Monday call. Monday, we're going to talk about how to build a list. We're going to talk about how to skip trace. We're going to talk about how to find leads. And if you're interested, we will adjust from finding just motivated sellers for property. We will go into more detail on how to build the list for actual raising capital. Does anybody think that'd be valuable for this Monday's call? Okay, I will put more detail into it this Monday, I promise. Dorina, hold me accountable to that. So I sometimes forget these things that I promise to do. But it is recorded, it's on Facebook, and you guys can hold me accountable as well. That said, once you have your list, just carve out a few ideas, what could you do to add value to that person? If you're calling engineers in a specific company, what could you do? What could you have to relate with that type of person? If you're calling attorneys, are they law attorneys? Are they real estate attorneys? Are they a different type of attorney practicing in a different type of arena? Know what their niche is and figure them out. Know their locality, know what they're talking about in their day, and figure out a way to add value. If they're mortgage brokers, mortgage lenders make a lot of money right now. They are fucking killing it. They are slaying the game. If they're like, I talked to my banker the other day. He said, if your mortgage lender is not making $250,000 right now, he's not picking up his phone. That's just what it is. Does that make sense? These are people who have a lot of cash that are looking to get a return, but they don't know anything else other than real estate. But they also don't know the physical side of it. They just know the write the check side of it. We get that? Hell yeah. They're watching the banks make all the money. So that's a lender you can get a nice 8-10% interest rate on. In fact, Ron Bowling, my business partner, when he started real estate investing, he was lending at 8%. He was lending at 8% to learn the process. He was on bigger pockets. He was sitting on a bunch of cash, and he was lending his money out so he could learn how to start investing. Later on, he and I became business partners, and now he borrows money at 12%, more than he was lending it out at. It's just part of the game. Now, we do borrow money for cheaper. We have 6% interest, 5% interest. There are lower dollar amounts, but when we're looking to raise capital fast, you just pay what people are worth. Does that make sense? So now you got your list. You got topics. You got something you can talk about. You got topics. You got to have a deal. You got to have a deal to talk about, because there's no point raising capital without having a deal. Now, do not start raising capital 2 weeks out. That's where you end up paying 14 and 2. Does that make sense? So raise capital months before you need it. If you plan on doing a deal 3 months from now, raise capital today. Mike, go ahead.
Don't forget, first place you should look for that money is the seller. When you get that deal, right when you're in that house with that person, say, hey, would you be willing to hold paper? And ask them more than once.
Absolutely. Give Mike a round of applause.
Also, when you do say that, use their language, not Mike's language. They won't know what the hell that's in.
They won't know what hold paper means. We'll save that lesson for a whole other day. There's a course I teach. There's a course I teach called Get the Money. And Get the Money, we talk about how to raise capital, what to say, what the contracts are, what the terms are, what the negotiations could be. Get the Money, I haven't taught in a little while since we were doing live events. Last time I taught it was the Boston RIA. I taught Get the Money. It's also a one-day event that I run. So we're probably going to be doing that in Vegas. Who's already signed up for the Vegas trip? Even though it's a TBA, we don't know when it's going to be. Excellent. So that is a 3-day event. We're going to talk about Get the Money, get the deal, and get the attention. And those are the keys to exploding your business and, obviously just exploding, making a lot of money. Who would like to make a lot of money? Cool. I'm not selling the 3-day event right now. So, so don't even get your hopes up. When we find a location, well, we know it's going to be in Vegas, but when we find the actual date when Vegas will actually be open, allowing us to travel and doing this, then we'll start promoting it. We'll let everybody in the community know. So raising capital, and yes, I will do, at some point I will do Get the Deal. Who'd like to see Get the Money? Who'd like to, even if I did a shorter version of it, I did an hour or 2 version of Get the Money, that'd be valuable. Okay. So we will schedule that with one of our events that we do, and I will get that going for you guys. Thank you, by the way, for your opinions and for letting us know what's helpful to you. It is sometimes easy to forget where everybody else is. At this level in the game, we play slightly different. We have cash, we have resources, we have networks. And so where you may be beginning is important for me to know. It's important for you to text me, for you to message me and say, hey, this is the problem I'm experiencing right now. And this is where, like what's stopping me? How do I get past this? If you don't communicate with me, I can't build this program the way I want it to. I'm looking to build 100 millionaires. That is my mission. I've already done well in business and the businesses continue to grow. And the next business I want to create is a business that builds millionaires. We don't necessarily know all the paths of how we're going to get paid, but we know that if we're surrounding ourselves with hundreds of millionaires, we'll probably make some money. Is that fair to say? That at some point I'll do something valuable enough to earn that? Yes? Excellent. So the mission is build 100 millionaires. And with every one of the 100 millionaires that we build, you're now inspired to potentially go out and hopefully build 100 millionaires yourself, to move forward and keep this mission moving and growing. And I see hand raised. I see people saying, hallelujah, yes, you're in it. So I appreciate you. We must be like-minded people who just want to add more value and see what we do, like to see how it turns out. Like, just let's see what the world looks like with more millionaires. I read a book called Science of Getting Rich. And what he talked about is you can't kill poverty through charity. You can't kill poverty by giving money. You can't feed a man by just giving him a fish, right? The only way to kill poverty is to teach people how to be wealthy. The only way to get rid of people having less is to teach them how to get more. Does that make sense? We see that that's reasonable. And so in my community, in this community we've built, talking about making $1 million is cool. Nobody judges you here. Everybody's like, shit, yeah, why wouldn't you, right? Outside of this community, it gets a little hairy. It gets a little dangerous. I know, because I'll wear my 100 millionaire shirt, right? And I'll go out and talk about making people millionaires, or say that I build millionaires, or say that I'm a millionaire, and people will instantly judge, well, money's not everything. Well, money doesn't buy you happiness. I don't know if you've had enough to know what money can buy you, in fact, because it buys me the ability to house 60 people right now. I got 60 families that live in our properties, right? That money that we've got going is providing shelter for 60 families. The business that we're running helps build millionaires. We've got people who we've built so much wealth for that they're able to now provide and do their charities and do what they enjoy. So, yeah, I've built partial millionaires, right? 100 millionaires, quarter millionaires, half millionaires. My business partner is now a millionaire. We've built, Ryan McDermott was mostly all the way there by the time he came to us, but now he's a millionaire, like officially. And so the confidence that having $1 million, that knowing you can pay for your kids' college in cash, knowing that you can, if a medical situation occurred, cash, no problem, sell a house, right? It wouldn't be an issue. That confidence allows you to just be a better human being. You're not so stressed out with your kids anymore. You're not so stressed out with your wife or your husband anymore. You're not stressed out with your coworkers. You're there because you want to be there, not because you have to be there, right? Everybody tells me I work too hard. And bullshit, I'm retired. I retired at 30. I'm just playing. This is me at play. This is me enjoying something that I enjoy. Who wouldn't want to get in front of a camera with 67 people on the phone doing the same thing as them, being the person saying, you can do it. Who here would love to do what I'm doing right now? Who would love to be coaching people, moving them forward? This is play. This is me enjoying my life. Look, you can build a business that makes you enjoy yourself. You can build a business that adds more value to the community, helps you feel better. Is it okay if I sell a product? It'll take me 30 seconds to sell a product. Is it okay if I do that? Thank you. I appreciate it. And as I do this, pay attention, because you can sell products just like this. So I have a mentorship program. It's very expensive for people who are not looking to move forward. For people who are looking to become millionaires, it's probably the cheapest thing you'll buy in your entire life. It is $1,000 and it's 8 weeks. It's 2 months every week, Monday at 8 o'clock. It's a commitment of time. Monday at 8 o'clock, we all get together. The whole mentorship program gets together with our 8 coaches. Our coaches are in there with us. And then for that time, we're doing accountability. It's where you're looking to go and what can we hold you accountable to this week. Everybody in the community learns what you're doing and they're holding you accountable. This is an intense program and it's not for the faint of heart. This is not for people who just want to get by. If you're one of those people who just want to get by, I apologize for selling to you. I did not mean to. I didn't want to embarrass you or make you feel uncomfortable. This is for people who have families they care about, communities they care about, a life they care about. If you think you deserve traveling more than once a year, if you want to do like I did, go live in Vegas for 3 months. Knock yourself out. You can. You deserve it. If you want to live in Tampa, like I'm going to go this winter, we're going to go for 5 months because I didn't think 3 months was long enough last time. So we're going to go to Tampa for 5 months, build a business down there, maybe do more coaching. If you think you deserve more than 2 weeks vacation and then spending money so you can actually enjoy that vacation, then earning money is important to you. And you're cool with me. I'm cool with that. So it's $1,000. Basically, you break it down. It's what? A little over $100 a week for this intense coaching program. You get one-on-one session. My time is very valuable. I will not sell my coaching program because it's $25,000. I think it's too expensive for people. And I'm not selling it. Don't worry. I'm not. I hear you. It's $25,000. I put it at that price because my time is valuable. And I really would much rather affect more people. So I had to price it at a point where nobody would ask me for it. Does that make sense? I had to get it out there where it was high enough where if somebody said they wanted it, I'd be like, well, shit, they pay me 25. I guess I'll do it, because it's a lot of commitment from me. And I have a lot of things I really enjoy in my life. But if somebody had that level of like, no, I need you, I will always step up, just like I do in the mentorship. So the mentorship is designed so it only takes about 5 hours of my life every week, no matter how many people we have in the program. The program is continuous. So as you jump in, you'll see some people are leaving and we have our graduation calls. And then you'll see some people are coming in. Who's been in the mentorship and seen new people coming in and thought it was really cool hearing their stories? Yes. And who's graduated the mentorship program and loves seeing the people from the past do well still, even after the program? Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. The people in the mentorship program are who have helped me build this. You guys and gals have been the beta test for us figuring out, how do we build millionaires? How do we get people to the next level? It's been you we've been testing on. And that's the other reason that our coaching program is so inexpensive. That $1,000 is literally just to keep you committed. It's just enough for you to say, you know what, I will show up at 8 o'clock on a Monday night. You know what, I will show up on Saturday's call. I will show up and I will do the homework. I will read the book this week. I will do my net worth tracker this week. We track your net worth. You don't have to tell me what it is, but you have to know what it is. You've got to know what your net worth is. You've got to track it every week. We hold you accountable to that. Does this sound like something that would move you forward to make you become a millionaire? If we taught you the habits of a millionaire, if we taught you the habits in 2 months, look, I'll be honest, it takes 3 to 6 months. It does. I'm sorry. Don't let me lie to you. 3 to 6 years to become a millionaire. It takes 3 to 6 years. If you're starting with less than 100,000, it can take 3 to 6 years. If you've got 100,000 and it takes you more than 3 years, you just haven't been paying attention. Does that make sense? That's okay too. But it takes 3 to 5 years to get to that $1 million mark. And so I'm not teaching you, I'm not going to get you to $1 million in 2 months. I'm teaching you the principles that if you do these steps every week, the way we're teaching you, in 3 to 5 years, it's an unstoppable force. It's a requirement. It has to happen because you're doing the right things. Everybody understands if you do the right things, you get the right results. Has anybody made mistakes in their lives and you say, I'll never do that again? Wealth is the same way. Wealth operates the same exact way. I have done things that lost money, wasted time, didn't build my life. And I thought, oh my God, I'll never do that again. Once you're aware of how it works, once you're aware of the time suck, the energy suck, the people who are taking away from you, the thoughts in your own head that are taking away from you, I promise you will never do those again. Is anybody interested in learning more about the mentorship? I'm not going to talk about it now, but if you're interested, you know, it's something that might move you forward. We also have a program that Ron created. It's $400 a month for 3 months. And that way it's more affordable for anybody who doesn't have that $1,000. The reason we created that is because we were asked to. It was not a way for us to make more money because we believe the $1,000 up front is actually better for you because it gets you to make that commitment up front and we have you committed the entire time. With the 3 months, the program's only 2 months. And so only putting $400 at a time, it doesn't seem like a big enough, you know, yes, I'm committed. Does that make sense? We understand why we charge for coaching. We do it so that you stay committed because my time is valuable and your time is valuable. But we coached for free for a very long time and we noticed people were not paying attention. We noticed that people just weren't committed. We found that in success events, if the event was free, do you know how many people registered for this event today? 2,000. 2,000 people are registered for these events. But because they're free, how many people show up? A little under 100. Because there's people bouncing in and out, and there's a lot of people on Facebook Live right now. That's how it works. If it's free, people don't stay. People don't show up because there's no skin in the game. When you pay, now you're talking about my time. Now you're talking my time one-on-one with people, really going deep into their lives. This is easy for me, right? This is a mass group. I'm not answering a lot of questions yet. This is easy. When we're spending time committed into your business, it takes a lot of my time. We understand that my time is valuable. I'm retired, right? I am wealthy by some means. I'm retired and I enjoy my life. So when I'm able to help people, I want to make sure that they're serious. I want to know I'm helping somebody who's going to do something with their lives. I want to know I'm helping somebody who's going to go out and commit to building another 100 millionaires, like Mike is, like Terry is, like Damien is, like Ron is, like Jill is. These are Elizabeth, right? Mitch, Kim, Chris, Mario, Robert. These are people who I trust. Ikram, I don't know if you're down yet, but I know your brother is. Saeed's definitely down. And by the way, give Ikram a round of applause. It's the second time in our group, so good to see you, brother. This commitment to your success. Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I just said same here. Thank you so much for that call.
Absolutely, man.
Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead, Jill.
I'm only like 3 weeks in this program and I've already learned so much. I feel like that $1,000 was already worth what I spent. you know, and I still got 5 more weeks in the program to go. So if anybody's on the fence about it, I'm all in.
Awesome. Give Jill a round of applause. She's been doing amazing. She's one of our fun mentor students. She's in the community, loving everybody, learning from everybody, utilizing everybody's tools and talents. Darina, can you put your hand to the camera? Darina, you're still on the line. Where are you at? There she is. Darina, can you just let people know how they can get in touch with you if they are interested in the mentorship program? Before I jump into questions, I just want to make sure everybody knows who Darina is. If you can see Darina, put your hands to the camera. You know where she's at. You see her there? Excellent. Darina is how you get into the mentorship program. You've got to text her, message her, talk to her. Darina, can you put your link in the chat? Later, Chris. Can you put your link in the chat? This way, everybody who's interested can reach out to you. And also, if you're interested and would like Darina to reach out to give you more information on how to join the 100 Millionaires, on how to build this foundation for yourself and how to join the mentorship, reach out to Darina. Put your email in the chat box below, or put your phone number, or you can private message her and send her a little comment. This is the opportunity of your lifetime to go for no, to learn how to raise the capital, to learn how to connect with the deals, to connect with our coaches, our celebrity coaches who've written books. This is your chance. Make sure you take it.
Walter, I have a question. Sorry. So if
Hey,
I find out on the timings of when it's good to take it, especially like with a switch in career and like kind of having to build some of the foundation before you start actually seeing some meaningful results and accountability and the goals that you want to set, who do I get in touch with for that?
If you are considering leaving your career, if you're looking at quitting your job, now is the time to have that conversation. You want to prepare, you want to be in the mentorship before you quit. Like Ryan McGovern, we worked him through quitting his job. And so he wanted to quit like in a year, 3 years out. He was saying 3 years out. Then when he joined the mentorship, it was suddenly, oh my God, I can quit tomorrow. And I was like, hold on, just a little bit longer, bro. Like, there's an in between 3 years and tomorrow. So we worked it out, and within 2 months of being with us, he was able to quit his job. So I would say that if you're interested in, or you already have quit your job and you're looking to just, go all in on this, take the mentorship now, take it ASAP, just so we can get your mind right. Because it's up to you to work the next 3 to 5 years, but you have to have your strategy on tight so that you can move effectively. Does that answer your question, Ikram?
It does, yes.
I want to add something. Anytime that we start asking when is a good time, we're already thinking about moving forward, and it's our hesitation, it's our head chatter that's getting us to slow down and stop and start thinking about all the problems. Right. If you had that idea, anybody on this call, if you had that idea that I think I want this, get rid of the think and just I want this and do it. Right. Because what do you got to lose? Number one, it's $1,000. It's ridiculously low. It's ridiculous how low it is. Number two, you want the skills to get out of where you're at. You gotta get new skills. And so it just makes sense. If that's what you want to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry. Go ahead, Mike Shine.
I will say that part of the mentoring is that you have a conversation with Walter, and you may think, because you hear all the stuff on fire, retire early, financial independence, whatever. And, but then when you talk to Walter, it's kind of like, well, wait a second, that's your cash flow. Maybe you shouldn't quit your job. It sounds all wonderful to do that, but that's your foundation. So it's another benefit that it's eye-opening to say, wait, don't quit your job. This is feeding the fire. This is what's getting you where you need to go. So,
Mike, was that a personal experience of yours?
Well, it's personal, and I know there's somebody else. I don't want to point her out, but there's somebody else on the call who wanted to jump out of her business, and you said stay in it and grow bigger. So I thought that was awesome.
Absolutely. Give these guys a round of applause. Thank you, Mike. And great question, Ikram. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's, so I'm sold, sorry, Walter, I'm sold the program. I just want to make sure, like when I should jump in. So I think that does answer the question. So
perfect.
Well, the answer is always now.
Always now.
It really is.
And
right now,
Walter and Terry and Mike said, like, it's like that decision. It's not about like, you already want to do it. It's about being prepared And that conversation we had, like Galter mentioned with Ryan McGovern, like he had the conversation with me, he had the conversation with Galter. And what was great about Ryan and why he could transition so fast is he pretty much had the blueprint already set out, and he was actually in a position to do it already, and he didn't realize it. Because when we first talked, I like kind of pumped the brakes on him to see if he was where he needed to be. Because you have people that have done it, and I can say from my experience, like I did it in my 20s, and I wasn't ready, and I failed. I went back to a job, and then I did it again in my 30s, and it worked because at that point I was in a position for success. So that's a big part of it too. Is just having that conversation with us to see exactly where your game plan is and if you're in a position to succeed or not, and if it makes sense. Because like Mike mentioned, we have people in the group that were thinking about transitioning out of their business, and we were like, no, this makes sense to stay with it, and now they're thriving more than they were prior to being part of the mentorship.
Absolutely.
I want to put a little exclamation point on what Mike and Mitch said, and that is nobody quit your job if you don't have the income replacing it. Stay with what is actually paying your bills. I'm going to say it again.
Amen.
Stay with what's paying your bills. Add something new like this, like real estate investing, those things you're adding it new to what's already paying your bills. And then when the new thing replaces your income to a point that it takes care of things like insurance and things like that you don't think about all the time. But once you have that replace your income, then you can do the exit strategy. Have the exit strategy in mind, but don't quit before you're safe. Otherwise, you just retreat back into thing and say, I failed and can't do it. Bad plan. Don't do that. Use this as a new thing that will eventually replace.
I love it. Give the coaches a round of applause. The coaches have been so valuable to us. You guys really make our community better. We've got Mitch Durfee, another coach on here who is kind of our systems guy. This guy, Mitch, what you just hit a massive record, I think, for anybody in our community, 200,000 a month consistently in revenue. How did you do it? That's through Amazon, right?
Yeah, we've been scaling up some of, I guess my background has always been systems, right? Like in real estate, same thing. So, my Saturdays are always following up with my teams. But yeah, in the Amazon business, we actually did one store did almost $225,000 in the last 30 days. And
just one.
Yeah, just one. And we got a stack of them now. We're actually getting ready to. I'm going to pull it up here so I can show you guys if you guys are interested. Let's see here. What was the last 30 days? Okay, so last 30 days, $217,000. You guys can see that there.
There it is.
There it is.
And yeah, we got a handful of those stores, but yeah, it's just systems, right? When you create the process and you get things rolling, and once it's the same thing in real estate, right? Like, I was never able to make the jump to the Amazon thing until I had the income from real estate. So for myself, I was in Iraq when I bought my first fourplex. And so I was not Iraq, Afghanistan. Like I was literally in the back of a vehicle in Afghanistan when I'm like, man, I don't want to be here anymore. So like any of you guys that are on the edge right now, like you're working your career and you think it's tough. Like I'm telling you, I was in Afghanistan in the back of an MRAP and I'm like, I got to get out of here. And I bought a fourplex and I didn't have the coaching. I didn't have the systems that you guys have here. Like you guys have the tools and the systems and the processes that are already developed. Like Walter's done an amazing job building these things out. And there's coaches, celebrity coaches here that have already paved that path for you. Like I had to figure this thing out through books, like reading, putting the extra hours in. You guys have like literally the golden ticket to be able to take you from that wherever you are now to making that jump. So I would say like if you're on the edge, like $1,000 may seem like a lot of money, but I can remember when I went to an event and the speaker literally said, he goes, if you think $1,000 is a lot of money now, it will always be a lot of money if you don't do something about it. So
Yep.
That's I think that's something to maybe keep in mind if you guys are thinking about this program. So
Mitch, I appreciate you, man. We're so proud of what you've accomplished. Mitch if you haven't read his book, Mitch wrote the book, Serve to Win. So he was one of our
it's you. I read that book actually. Oh, that's awesome. I love that book, Mitch.
Then he wrote
the story of the store. Yeah, like in the snow and everything. It's awesome. Love it.
So I want to add something to what Mitch was talking about. he's talking about he's got a number of Amazon stores, and this is something that a lot of people do. Especially, I've been to like so many seminars where somebody comes on stage, they talk about what they've accomplished, and then everybody goes, "Holy shit, I'm gonna go do an Amazon store now," and they all run off and start doing this shit and fail because they didn't pay attention to the fact that that's what he's doing now,
Right.
not what he started with, because he did not start with a $200,000 Amazon store. He started with an idea and he kept doing what he was already doing that was making him money, just the same point I was making before. And then he moved slowly into, or maybe quickly, but he used the same process that he became successful with the first thing to do a new thing. And that's what he's talking about, is it's the processes that make this thing work is going to make this thing work. And the process is infinite. The new thing is not going to make you money unless you have the process from the thing that's already getting you success. And so you really want to make sure that you have a successful thing. And if you're teetering on it, if it's not there yet, get with Walter, get with Mitch, get with me, get with the other coaches in here, Mitch's and Mike,
Mitch's.
all over the place. We will help you with your processes. We will help you with your mindset. We will help you with all of those things that get you the process that you can actually start doing the multiple streams of income. But you got to have a process that works first.
I love it. Give all the coaches a round of applause. It's so good to see you guys in here. I want to open the floor up to any questions you have about raising capital, any questions you have about finding deals, any questions about the principle of go for no, any discomfort that comes from it, or if I didn't explain it well enough, any questions that came up during it. We'll stop talking about the $1,000 products, although I did get this in the mail, and it says it's $1,000 Trump dollar bills. So I'm hoping we move to these, because I'll tell you what, the $100 bill is not big enough. I can't hold enough of them in my wallet without my wallet getting uncomfortable. So I'm hoping we transfer to something like this, or these. If we could transfer to $1 million bills, my life would get so much easier. They'd probably be easier to collect. Does that sound fair? Let's make a movement for $1 million bills. Anyway, questions. What is something?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Steph,
I didn't know you could hear me. So I have a question. It's kind of like a comment or a question, whatever. What would you suggest? What would you suggest for someone that works over 40 hours a week? Because like some people have like a overly are a lot of hours at work, right? So they don't have that time to start that business, or they feel like they don't have that time because they get consumed in just that weekly, hourly schedule, right? So what would you suggest for someone that wants to get out of that that work schedule to like start their new life or their new like business venture or whatever it may be?
Do they own their own business, or do they work for somebody else?
No, they work for somebody else. Like, let's say that they work at a store, or they work, they're just workers, like have a job, and but they have they want something else in their life. Yep. But because of the work schedule they have, they're just consumed, and they don't have that other extra time to actually start something else. So a lot of people get into their heads and they start like, oh, I can't do this because I work so much, or I can't. So would you say for them to take a leap of faith and just quit their job and start something, or what?
No, definitely not. Yeah. So how many hours do they work in a week? 40 hours a week?
Let's just say like 40, 50. This is not anyone I know. This is just something that I see happening to just like friends that I have.
Okay, so if they're just working 40, then they got plenty of time to work more. If they're working 50, then all that extra, they're getting paid overtime in the state of in the country of America. If they're working 50 hours, again, 10 hours of overtime money, those 10 hours need to be saved for investment. The non-negotiable, if they're working 50 hours, all the extra hours need to be saved for investment so they can start investing. And if look, I work 120 hours a week. You can ask Dorina. You can ask my business partner. I'll put in 120 because I love it. I love what I'm doing. There is no, I've gone days without sleeping. Dorina will see it, right? I'll go a whole day a week, a day a week without sleeping because I'm getting things done that I really love, that I enjoy. So I would say that if you find a career or a business that you love, then who cares if putting another 40 hours a week into it? Does that answer the question? And now I'm not saying you want to put an additional 40 hours a week into your side hustle if your side hustle doesn't pay well enough. But if your side hustle has the potential to pay very well, then there are systems and ways to make a lot of money with very few hours. This brings up the conversation I had with Saeed. Go ahead, Mitch. You got something? Oh, you were doing yeah, gotcha. So brings up a conversation I had with Saeed where he was working a full-time job, getting paid pretty well, and doing flips on the side. And he was telling me he was working too hard. He couldn't figure out how to scale it. And what I told him is, Saeed, that's because you go to Home Depot still. You go to Home Depot still. You go and do the work. You swing the hammer still. You belong hiring contractors. Let go of some of the cash so that you can get back some of the time. And so if you're working a 40-hour job right now and you're not making $100,000, look, it's time to get a side hustle. It's time to build something. Do one flip. One flip will make you 50 grand. One good, well-placed flip will make you an extra 50,000. I could double your income with just one project. All you gotta do is go buy it, right? Go look for it, go raise the capital for it, buy it, and pay a contractor to do it. Deals, money, labor, in that order. Find the deal, get the money, put the labor in work. You're still working your job, just every so often. You drive by the property once a week, right? You shoot your project manager a text once a week. Hey, send me pictures. What's the update? Are we on track? Are we on schedule? And then you hire a real estate agent when it's ready to be sold, and they sell it. You know, you don't have, like, we're doing flips right now that I haven't seen. Well, like, okay, technically now I've seen it. I went and I took a whole bunch of stuff out of the house the other day. Found pennies and found gold and video games for days. And you know why people lose their houses? It's because all they're doing is playing video games and watching TV. I swear to God, I'm convinced that after going through the properties we've been through over the years, it's like, because they're taking the 120 hours they have after work, Stephanie, they're taking that time to play video games, drink with their buddies, watch TV, sit around and do nothing. That's what's killing your financial career. If you're not you, Steph, but that's what's killing your friend's financial career.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
After work, I want to go hang out with a millionaire and be like, dude, what are you doing today? Right? What are you up to? What projects are you working on? How do I help you out? That's where. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's why it's very important to join a program, like someone that could keep you accountable, because that's the only way, like, let's say if you're starting out from nothing, that's the only way that'll keep you going and keep that momentum going to what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question, Stephanie. Give Stephanie a round of applause.
Thank you.
Good statement. What other questions on raising capital, on going for no, on finding deals?
Yeah, I got a question.
Damien, then Ishmael. Go ahead.
All right. So there was an interesting. So I posted about something on the wholesalers mastermind recently. I think Monday this week. And so I don't know if you noticed, my friend Dimitri jumped in, and we were talking about the private lender I use, right? So this was an interesting story. So somebody heard that I was doing a loan to somebody else, and I brought it up in a mastermind. So at the mastermind, this guy grabbed me and goes, "Don't loan to this guy, loan to me." And he goes, "I have a first position loan. Like, what is your position?" And this one, mine was second position. And obviously it was the better deal, but I already told this other guy I would loan to him. And now after reading the banker's code, right? Because I read it at that time, and I, like the arbitrage thing. So I'm like, let me sell this loan. Like, so I tried to work it out and do either some arbitrage or take a fee on this guy's first position loan. And the crazy thing is, I'm like, I think I have like 3 private lenders, and I thought for sure that I could get one of them to bite on this, right? And none of them did. So I was wondering what you thought about that strategy. Have you ever done it? And kind of how would you, so the people know me, right? And all these people are from Boston, right? And the deal was in Philadelphia. Actually, the deal was in South Jersey from a guy living in Philadelphia. So how would you present that? And have you ever done this? And have you known ever people that have been successful in that case?
So how do you win in this? Where are you making your money? Is it in charging extra points?
So no, like I would be so I would make the loan to either the guy, right? And I would be the first position loan, and then I would do the loan to my private lender, and it would be secured by my loan. Or I would say like, hey, like I want a fee at the closing table, and a fee would be kick over to me just for brokering the deal between the private lenders. So there was two ways I came about that I said I could make money off this. So
You could do it either way. The first way is more complicated. I rather just charge points. So yes, we've taken a point for, or a percentage of a point for passing referrals along to our hard money lenders or to attorneys. So it's possible to get a point on a loan. You don't have to be a mortgage broker to do that. You're not getting paid for anything other than just making connections. So it's not necessarily related to the loan. It's points outside of it. There may be legalities depending on the state, depending on lending practices, but it is possible. In fact, a lot of money brokers that I know do that, right? They charge points for lending the deals, for connecting those people. So it is possible. If you're interested in learning more about it, I could connect you with a few of our money lenders. I know 4 guys who that's all they do for a career is they connect other people with money.
Yeah, I would. Another thing too, another question, or another add-on to that, right, is like, how do I make the Boston people secure on loaning on deals in Philadelphia, kind of thing? And that, I think that was a big part of it. Like, they know me, they like, because I grew up in Boston, and they know where my family live and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They can't drive to the house they're lending to in Philadelphia, and they don't know the people that they're lending to necessarily. So that's
Fly 'em out.
another obstacle.
I would say fly them out or do some videos. So for us, we have lenders out of state, and the way I was able to build rapport was I was always doing videos about my deals. This was back when we were doing Fall Over Flip, Fall Over Hustle, and we were just showing videos, showing properties, and I had my buddy saying, "Dude, I'll jump in on a deal like that," like because I'd be talking about the numbers, letting people know what we're doing, and so that built confidence. We've also had people fly out, and they fly in, and they're like, because I'm so proud of my city. I love the city. I have no problem if somebody wants to fly out. I'll show them around like what we're doing. And so those investors now feel confident because, we took them a place to eat, showed them where the schools are, showed them where the city's making investments, and then took them down to where the properties are, explained how the neighborhoods work. So that is it really just makes it easier if you throw a party, right? Throw a party, make it something cool. It's an open house for the city itself, and you'll be able to borrow money that way.
Yeah, thanks. That was awesome. Great.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Give Damien a round of applause. Great question. Ishmael, I saw your hand up, brother. You're up next.
Hey, what's going on, Walter? Yeah, I just wanted to touch back on what the lady has talked about as far as working full time and trying to get everything done. Right now is I'm looking to try to automate what I do because I'm still working full time here at the prison, and I'm running a mobile notary service. And now I've been doing a lot of loan signing, and I'm making calls. I'm pretty much doing everything. So now it's like I'm doing everything myself, with my wife. That's helping me now. I'm trying to get myself out of the position where I'm literally doing every little step, from like finding houses, skip tracing, calling owners, finding out who's behind the trust, the trust accounts. So how do you suggest that, I start to implement new ideas or strategies? That way I'm not so much too busy working in my business.
Yeah.
Because I'm also doing multiple other businesses. So what would you suggest that I do?
Great question, Ishmael. And I got to say, you're somebody I respect and I look up to a lot. I lean on you a lot in the business in the city. Anytime I find a property that I look at and I say, man, this building is decrepit, I send it to Ishmael because he does all of that work that we were just talking about. He'll do the research, he'll find the seller, he'll pound on their door 100 times until they finally answer him, and then he'll negotiate the contract and get us a good deal. So I see you doing a lot of work, Ishmael, and it's a lot of work that I personally, I'm like, damn, like I don't have time for it, but I know Ishmael's got the time. So what I'll say is focus on making more money per transaction. Do bigger deals, do better deals. Focus on taking the deals down yourself instead of wholesaling. So if you're taking the deal down yourself, you're doing the flip yourself, then you're making more money per transaction. You can afford to pay other people to do all those extra steps. But if you're not making enough, if you're not doing valuable enough work, then it's very hard to pay somebody to do the work for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I would say, Ishmael, if you shifted your focus from wholesaling to doing flips, even if, you know, we brought the money and you partnered with us and you're making 50% of the flip, it's still 25 grand, right? It's pretty guaranteed because you're working with us and we know what we're doing. So I would be more open to partnering to doing flips or just doing the flip yourself and just ask us, right, what to do and how to do it. Because you're right here in Fall River. You're in our city. We can really work with you. Like it's effortless for us to work with you. And you've given so much to us, you know, bringing us deals constantly and helping us out. So we have no problem helping you like that, Ishmael.
All right, that sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So the answer to all questions: make more money. Do more per transaction, make your deals more valuable. That's what turning leads into gold is all about. That's what the whole it's back there, turning leads into gold. It's about finding the money in every single transaction. How do you maximize the return on investment? Like Damien was talking about lending, making referral money off of lending. You can get referrals from insurance agents, you can get referrals from your contractors, referrals from your property managers, referral from other agents. There's referrals from wholesalers. There's so much money on a single transaction that can be made. And if you're not paying attention, well, somebody else is collecting it. Is that fair to say? It rains on everybody. It's raining money everywhere. But if your house is built to keep the money out, then somebody else is going to get the money. It's going to go in the gutter. It's going to flow over to my house. Because I'd rather have a drainage system collecting all the cash, bringing it back. Go ahead, Mike. I see your hand up.
Yeah, I like Grant Cardone's Millionaire booklet when he talks about who has your money.
Who has my money?
Who has your money? And it was just an eye opener for me to think about that. Yeah, who am I talking to? And he says when he goes to these big events and there's 10,000 people there, he tells his staff, be nice to everybody, but there's probably 4 people in this room you want to actually talk to, and that's your time. So who has your money?
Ron Bowling's got it up on his screen. Chapter 4, who has your money? Chapter 6, who has your money? That is so valuable. And that's why we build lists, right? So that principle is why we build lists. It's why we find out who's got cash, right? That was the whole principle here today. And if you go back, I can't remember which wealth principle it was, but wealth principle, one of the wealth principles is who's got my money. And that's, you can look it up. We did it a few videos back. Actually, let me check for you. Who has your money? 10x rule, 10x planning.
So, Dr. Major, while Walter is doing that, just a quick question, if that's okay, Walter.
Wealth principle 7. Yes, go ahead.
So, so I think what you mentioned about not quitting the job is the primary reason behind that is sustainability of the family and like keeping your bills paying, or is that you saying that the side business that you'll be doing, you want to prove that it's making money, then you want to jump? Like, what's the distinguishing thing here? Like, is the confidence level, building that up through the business, will it go down if I'm not sustaining my family versus, you know, that will.
Can I jump in on this one?
Go ahead, Terry. Yes.
So let me ask you a question, Ikram. If you can't pay your bills, how well do you think?
Oh, not really. It's not.
It's kind of freaking out, right?
Always on the mind, yeah.
And so the idea is, at least in my mind, have your bills paid, have everything set, so you're in much more of a balanced, intentional state, so you can actually think through and do the necessary processes to get things done. If you quit, number one, you're reacting to the fact you don't like where you're at. Quitting is always reaction. I used to play video games when I was younger, and you see people just disappear out of the game, and usually they hit a button like F10, and we used to make fun of them because they rage quit. And that's what usually quitting is. When people leave a job or something like that, they're rage quitting a job, and then they're going to do something else, and the other thing is going to end up exactly the same because they didn't plan it out. You want to be intentional with anything and everything you're doing. It doesn't matter what it is. If there's not intention behind it, it's reaction. If it's in reaction, you're making mistakes.
Thank you, Terry. Good question, Ikram. This is a question that we don't get asked enough. We really don't get asked enough. People just assume that as soon as they're making a little bit of money in real estate, they can jump out of their job and jump into a full time. And I know from personal experience, I made a few mistakes early on, and well, I went through life. We won't call them
We all
mistakes.
have, yeah.
I went through life, and we've learned. And so, Ikram, you married? You have a wife, kids?
Yeah.
You want to keep them? I assume they're important to you. So cash flow and stability are super important. If you want to make $1 million, you first have to have 100,000 coming in no matter what. Whether you're working for it or it's passive, the 100,000 has to be coming in. You can do it on 50,000. If you live in an area that's cheap enough, you can do it on 40,000. But you've got to, I don't care if you work in 60 hours to pay your bills, you do not start working on the $1 million project until your bills are paid, because you're not able to keep a clear mind. Becoming a millionaire involves a clear mind. It is very hard to negotiate millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars when you're worried about, I can't afford to take this guy out for lunch right now because I can't pay my gas bill, right? Like sometimes to get to $1 million, I've got to go spend $1,000 hanging out with people, right? I got to buy them the cigars. I got to buy them the bourbons. I've got to, pay for the hotel or the flight to get that connection with that person who's the player. And so in order to sustain and be able to make those investments in your time and in your money, you've got to have some sort of cash coming in. You've got to feel at least comfortable enough to be able to go and do these things. Now, earning, 40, 50,000, you can do that in 40 hours a week. Earning 100,000, you can do that in 40 hours a week. And those surpluses of lots of cash, that extra stuff, doesn't have to be all you doing the work. Like I said to your brother Saeed, there are people like Ishmael out there who are making all the phone calls. There are people like Darina who are running entire wholesale teams. Right? There are, on our wholesale mastermind, there's like 250 people who are out there making calls all the time because they just want to check. They're cool with just getting $5,000, $10,000 on a transaction. So there's people that you can utilize to find deals. There are lenders, like we got a couple of our money lenders who just connect us with money. We don't have to go raise capital anymore. We go to people who are already raising capital. And so there's arena, and then project managers, property managers, those guys are a dime a dozen on Thumbtack. Go online, there's people everywhere who are willing to do deals. When you look for real estate agents, there's real estate agents everywhere. How many real estate agents on this call right now? Hands to the camera if you're a licensed agent. Bam, there's a real estate agent, right? So there's a lot of people who can do the work for you that you don't have to do the work. So you want to do a flip, contact a dozen agents or contact Arena, right? If you have Darina's contact, I don't care what state you're in, Darina's all over the country. Message Arena, say, hey, I'm looking for a flip this year. Can you hook me up with an agent in my market who understands flips, who understands alchemy, who's been through these training programs? She'll connect you with somebody in our community. And so you don't have to do a ton of work. You've just got to have the desire to do it, and then have the desire to do it with very little time. And then if you want to do it with none of your money, then you got to have that desire too. And be willing to pay a little bit more, because you're going to pay for the agent, you're going to pay for the money broker to go find the money, you're going to pay for the contractor to manage the project for you, you're going to pay for the lender you're going to pay a little extra carrying costs. But dude, you got the time, right? All these projects are running right now. Our 60 units are being managed by a property manager. The flips we're running four flips right now. Those are being managed by a project manager. The company right now, you keep hearing me talk about Darina taking all the leads. Darina is handling all of the customer service for me in the training company and in our brokerage. She connects all the agents and the investors together. So there's people, and then Ron manages everything. He runs all the background. So all I get to do is come on stage, talk to you, train you, and then I can go back and smoke a cigar right after this, and I'm good. As long as we got a mastermind at 10 o'clock, so at 12 o'clock, everybody in the mastermind, 12 o'clock, I'll be there, and I probably won't be smoking a cigar yet. So Ikram, there's a way to build wealth without quitting your job. On my first two properties I bought, still working, making $40,000 a year, working for another company. And then it took me a year because I quit too fast. I quit too fast, and then I wasn't able to buy in that first year that I quit. I didn't have the skill set I have now either. Now, none of that would have been an issue. So it's very personal, but I do think that cash flow is important. Cash flow helps you keep sanity, and you can build a part-time job that makes you an extra 50,000, extra 100,000. I could go work a full-time job right now. It wouldn't stop my income. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like if I decided I wanted to go work 40 hours right now at doing something that paid me $7 an hour, I can go under minimum wage working $40, 40 hours a week. I'd still be earning the money we earn. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter how many hours you work if you build the right assets, build the right systems. The systems we built did not take a ton of time. You know, the website, I could have paid a VA to do all the work that Ron did. We just didn't know any better. Ron did a lot of the work. He and I did it together. But there's a lot of stuff we could have just paid a virtual assistant. My YouTube channel, now I have a virtual assistant. We pay him, I think, $600 a month, and he does everything to make the YouTube channel happen. I was busting my ass, you know, but I didn't realize I could have, for short money, just replaced myself. Is this this valuable?
Well, one of the things that Gwalter's talking about is in Gwalter's and my arena, where we speak from the stage and we do these types of things to deliver information to people. They have this idea of pay to play. If you got to get on a stage, you got to actually pay money up front to get on there, and then you get something in return. And what he's really actually talking is a smaller version of that. You got to pay your lenders, you got to pay your people who are helping you fix and flip, you got to pay your property managers, you got to pay to play. And so I think that a lot of people come into a new thing like this and they have this idea that I want to make money, but I don't want to spend it. And you got to spend, you got to pay in order to make money back. You cannot get money out of a machine if you don't put money in. The thing is the more that you put in, the more you get back out. And that's a spiritual law.
And I want to say, so what Terry just said is important. And there's another piece that's right before it. And the spiritual law is this: you have to have the intention to make payment. The
Amen.
intention to make payment. So you don't have to necessarily give them the money up front, but you do have to promise that you will give the money. So create the debt up front. I will pay you when I do this. I will pay you when I do this. I will pay you when we close. Once I've made the money, once the flip is done, I will pay you. All of these locks in making the promise of future payment and then delivering. That's how you're able to build wealth. Debt is how an economy is created. The promise of money and reward in the future when money is brought in is how money is made. Partnerships. Hey, when we make money, I'll split. Right? When we get through this, you're going to make money, I'm going to make money. Referral fees, this is all upon completion of deliverable, we all get paid. Right? So no money up front. Who here would be willing to work for free to make $1 million? Excellent. Excellent. You're like me. My goal, I'm too young, right? I'm too young. I made money too early. I'm going for $1 billion. You don't have to all do that. That's just something that I'm doing because I'm 34 years old and already got quite a bit stacked. Does that make sense? So I'm willing to work for free. I'm willing to build this community of millionaires so that 5-10 years from now, we can all join forces in a big $1 billion REIT and I can have accomplished the goal that I set out to do. Does that make sense? There is ability by giving yourself for free, by doing more for people, building people. I make an investment in you every single week. You become a more valuable asset to me and my long-term goal every single week as I teach you how to build wealth, as I teach you how to be a good human being, as I teach you how to line your mind with the universe to attract wealth, to attract good people. Every single one of you becomes an asset. Every single one of you is moving in a direction that helps me get to my goal as well, which is just to make the world a better place. And I think by having 10,000 units in a $1 billion company, we're probably going to have an effect. You think we'd have an effect with $1 billion investment behind us? I think so. And as long as it's all good people, I'm not worried about who's running the company because I know that at every level, you and I agreed to be moral and ethical in all of our transactions. Does that make sense? And that's how this works. It works on the large scale of what I'm working towards doing, and it works on the current scale of what you're looking at doing. If you're just looking at doing your first flip or you're looking to buy in your first rental property, man, that's small. Trust me, it's small. it's tiny. Like if I thought about like just doing a single family flip, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's 5 minutes of my time. Right? What am I say yes to the contract. I text everybody and I don't ever have to text again. That deal's done. Does that make sense? And so
I have a question.
what is it going to take for you to go and take action on whatever is the right thing for you to do right now? If you don't know what the right thing to do is, you probably do want to join the mentorship and we'll figure it out. If you do know what you're supposed to be doing, just go do it, right? Don't let anything stop you. It's small. I promise whatever you're looking at is small compared to the stuff I'm looking at every day. Does that make sense? I don't care who you are. It is small compared to, like, some of us are working on billion-dollar projects. Go ahead, Mike. I see your hand.
If you want a little perspective, Elon Musk of Tesla is working on colonizing.
Yeah, how to work it
Mars.
in.
Colonizing Mars. This has nothing to do with cars. He's actually talking about buying multifamilies on Mars. So, little perspective.
I love it. Give Mike Shine a round of applause.
He only picked Mars because it rhymes with cars. Just saying.
Walter, can I share something real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah, Kim, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Almost afternoon. So I can totally relate from what Stephanie was saying, and I graduated the mentor program last night after 8 weeks. And I have to say, when I started the program 8 weeks ago, I was like I just was, I was just whatever, and I still kind of am, but I'm better.
Yes, you are.
Much better. Way better.
So for
way focused.
Exactly. So for Stephanie and Ikram, this has been an invaluable experience for me over the past 8 weeks. And one word that everybody, there's been a same word that some of you have used today, and it's can't. And you have to take that out of your mindset, because once you remove the C-A-N-T and say C-A-N and capitalize it, you can do it. And it's a mindset, and you just have to focus on that. And for me, sorry, I get so nervous when I speak in front of everybody. But for me, my mind is always going on how to make money and in strategies to do that. But you have to focus. And the first conversation that Walter and I had, he said, Kim, focus on what is going to make you the most money. And so I have. And for me, I have to stay very structured with routine. So I have a vision board, and every day I write my discipline, my routine, my goals. And at the end of the day, I want to take a Sharpie and I cross it off. So those are the goals that I accomplish every day. And your mindset just changes when you're driven to find that focus to make the most money. I have taken everything on my side hustle. I've delegated a ton of things in my business. I have my IT person working on my Instagram, my social media. I hired a bookkeeper. And the other thing that is really super important, I think, and when I'm hearing through other people that you can't do it because you don't want to leave your W-2, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, I was in the same position as an EMT, making, starting making $11 an hour, and at 45 years old, making $18 an hour, saying like, what am I doing this for? Chasing my tail. What can I focus on? But I had to, when I left doing my EMT stuff full time to start all this real estate stuff, you have to sacrifice. I took Starbucks coffee out of my weekly budget. And now I can say that I've put a lot of money into, well invested money, to Walter's point, into coaching. So I have, I put $1,000 of money into the mentor program that has increased I've doubled my net worth in 8 weeks just by, now I just actually this morning I was up at 6:30, and with my first cup of coffee, I'm more focused on the referrals and getting retainers for my clients. So now that I've delegated out so many different things and I'm more focused, I just drafted a reciprocity referral contract. So now I'm getting people under contract with referrals, and it has really helped me focus on my daily, my weekly, my monthly, my yearly goals to really do that. And I think once you get in that mindset, and the other thing that has saved me a ton of time, I've looked at like 8 properties this week because I can delegate, is the Scaredy Cat guide. The calculator, baby. It has saved me a ton of time this week because I'm like,
all these books,
oh,
stack of books here. Our celebrity coaches. Give
And
it
the-
up, Kim.
and the
Nice
mentorship,
background,
I
Ron.
mean, it's invaluable. I mean, I was not a book reader. Now I can't wait until Saturday mornings to get our next book. And, you know, I listen to a lot of them, I have to admit, when I'm driving around neighborhood stalking for houses on Audible, but it's a different mindset. So once you have time to, you know, focus on what's making you the most money and sacrifice things to catapult you into that next level. You know, Ryan's helped me with my financial stuff. Terry's helped me. Everybody, it's you know, Darina, Walter, Mike. You know, whenever it's a family, and it's a family of networking that you know that you're not out there alone, and it makes you feel better to take those leaps and to make that huge jump off that ledge, because you know that, you know, if you don't have the answers for something, you can network with somebody and somebody will help you and have that answers.
I love it. Give Kim a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to jump off. I just realized it's almost 12 o'clock. We have a mastermind program that I have to run. And because everybody in the mastermind program has paid so much money to be there, it is important for me to make sure that I am full and ready to deliver on a high level. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the mastermind program, you have 16 minutes to go get some food, get something to drink, so that you can hang out with us. First person to log in is first person up. So if you want to be first, log in quick. And if you want to be last, you log in at like 12:01, so you can get your place in line. For everybody else on the call, we appreciate you hanging out with us this late. Thank you for the great questions. Thank you for the coaches who hung out with us and gave so much value. When you have a choice, always
work with
Always work with the best.
Cheers to your success.